I know you guys stayed up late, particularly for this. So I want to thank you and welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe and welcome to this late night preview edition of Believers Talk where we preview the game this Sunday night between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, guys, welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. If you are new to the channel, you want to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave a comment as we are live. I know it's late, almost 11 o'clock. If you're watching that Thursday night game, you're not enjoying that too much as Baltimore has a huge lead over the New York, New Jersey Jets. But we're here to preview the game this weekend between our Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Sunday night football game. The Bills on Sunday night football. You better believe it, baby. We're going to show up. Be proud. I know that it's in Pittsburgh, but hey, the Bills have played better on the road this season than at home. At least that's what the record says. So we hope that that helps us out this weekend. Haven't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh since 1977. So if that's something you're trying to think about, the Pittsburgh Steelers really had our number in history. If you think back to 2004 when the Buffalo Bills just had to beat the second string, Willie Parker and company kind of tore us up that game, and we end up being eliminated from the playoffs. Hey, Anthony, how you doing? Thank you for joining me on Believers Talk for this late night Thursday edition. Guys, we're going to preview the Steelers game, and I know some of you are probably not watching this live, watching this on replay. I want to thank you for watching that. Again, I know a lot of you join me during these live streams, so I appreciate that. But I know that I got out late. I left a message on YouTube saying, hey, we had a Christmas party. Still got my Christmas tie on. Had a good time. But definitely want to make sure you guys get the best Buffalo Bills content out there that we can provide. And guys, before we get into that, again, not only do we cover the Buffalo Bills, cover all Buffalo sports, Sabres get a win today, baby. So Sabres win. Jack Eichel with 2 more goals. Gets him up to 22 on the season. He is now second in the NHL in goals scored this season. So good job to him. Hey, Brian Huff. Hey, Peacekeeper. Welcome to Believers Talk. We can win this one. Go Bills, says Brian Huff. We're going to break it down and we're going to let you know. I'm going to let you know what I think we have to do to win this one. And guys, if you're not already subscribed to Hashtag Sports, remember Hashtag Sports and Believers Talk teaming up to give you the best play-by-play and reaction coverage to every single Buffalo Bills game. Jordan, Mario, and Paul this Sunday night as they give you the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you want to do that. Believers Talk also team up with BewareTheStampede.com. Guys, to thank you for giving me over 1,000 subs, I am giving away an Andre Reed signed Buffalo Bills jersey. Make sure you go to BewareTheStampede.com for ways to enter. Guys, again, if you're just joining, hit that thumbs up button. Let people know we're here. Obviously, with the late start, we want to try to get as many people in here as we can. I know, again, like I said, a lot of you might not be joining this live. Jack Patrick's in the house. I'm sorry I got in here late, but for you, it's still pretty early. 81 degrees, partly cloudy over blah, 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 blah. Guys, I've been drinking a little bit. Oahu, beautiful sunset, out washing the truck, listening to Believers Talk. Where else would you rather be? Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jack Patrick. Where else would you rather be but right here, right now? And where we are at right now, the 5th overall seed in the AFC. Again, as I said in the beginning, a win and we're in. That's all we need. So what's it going to take to beat this Pittsburgh Steelers team? We know that the Ravens gave us a beat down last week, right? I know on the scoreboard it was just a 1-score game, but you're talking about getting sacked 6 times. You're talking about blitzing on over 60% of the plays we ran. That's the kind of method that other teams have used to beat the Bills, blitzing, right? Well, you look at the Steelers team, lead the league in sacks. So they don't even have to blitz all that much. They're not a high blitzing percentage team. They get pressure with their front 3, front 4. So they don't need to blitz as much as some of the other teams, but they still get pressure on the quarterback. So how are we going to manage that? We'll talk about that a little bit in this episode as well. First, I want to get through some of these stats, right? Some of the stats between the Bills and the Steelers to show where we're at so far this season. Again, the Bills 9-5, the Steelers 8-6 with 3. I'm sorry, the Bills 9-4, the Steelers 8-5 with 3 weeks to go. If you look at points per game, the Buffalo Bills currently 20th in the league, getting 21.1, so basically getting 3 touchdowns a game. 20th in the league just isn't going to be good enough, guys. Our offense needs to continue to improve. We thought we kept seeing some improvement, then we hit that Baltimore bus, right? You hit that Baltimore bus, which the Jets are currently hitting right now, and things come to a stop. Right now, Baltimore are looking like the best team in the NFL. Let's applaud Lamar Jackson for passing Michael Vick today for the most rushing yards in a season by a quarterback. Congratulations to him, a great athlete in Lamar Jackson. I look forward to watching more athletic things from him for years to come. So, wanted to say that. The Buffalo Bills averaging 21.1 points per game, not that good. But one of the teams doing worse than us, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers only averaging 19.9 points a game, and that's good for 23rd in the NFL. You want to talk about red zone scoring? Huge difference here in red zone scoring. What I mean by red zone scoring is when your offense gets in the red zone, what is the percentage that you get it into the end zone? So you look at the Buffalo Bills sitting at 61.1% this season. That's good for a 10th in the NFL. We're still doing a pretty good job at punching the ball in the end zone once we get it into the red zone. So we have to be happy with that. Where the Steelers rank? Dead last. And you talk about this Bills defense all season. This Bills defense has been a bend, don't break type defense, and we really need to continue that this weekend against the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially when you talk about a team that's 32nd in the league with 34.3% touchdown red zone efficiency. We need to capitalize on that and not let them score touchdowns. If we could score some touchdowns and make them score field goals. Remember what happened last week in the Baltimore game, right? The Baltimore game, we were the team that was scoring field goals. It was 17-9. They got a couple touchdowns in there and made it hard for the Buffalo Bills to come back. Again, obviously too much at one point, down 24-9. Couldn't quite come back from that, made it 24-17. Just could not get that foul drive in the end zone. So if the roles are reversed and we're scoring the touchdowns and they're scoring the field goals, I like our chances to win this game. You look at overall offense, the Bills are 5th in rushing with 135.5 yards average rushing a game. Passing, they're 27th in the league, just over 200 yards at 206.6. That gives you a total of 341.9 yards a game. Good for 20th in the NFL. And if you look at where the Bills were last season compared to this season, light years ahead, guys. Last year we were 31st in league in total offense at this time. Now we're sitting at 20th. Not where we want to be. Definitely room for improvement, and we want to keep looking at that. But if you look where we are compared to last year, pretty solid there at that 20th spot. You look at the Steelers right now. Steelers rushing the ball less than 100 yards a game. Danny Martinez comes in and says the Bills will win this game. Absolutely. The Bills have a great chance to win this game and clinch that playoff spot. But if you look at Steelers offense this season, not that good. Currently ranked 31st in the NFL. They're 24th in rushing, averaging 94.6 yards per game. Although, as you guys know, I like to do this. In the last 3 games, the Pittsburgh Steelers are averaging 141 yards per game in the last 3. So obviously the rushing game is getting a little bit better. So we need to make sure that we concentrate on that. Don't take it lightly just because they're averaging less than 100 yards a season. They obviously know how to run the ball. Passing the ball, they are less than 200 yards at 195.5 yards a game. Hey Daniel, how you doing? Welcome to Billievers Talk. Glad you can make it for this late night edition. Again, guys, if you haven't already hit that thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button. Helps out the channel a lot. But they have less than 200 yards passing at 195.5, 31st in the NFL. Total offense, they're actually at 290.1 yards per game. They're 28th in the NFL in total offense. Again, something that this defense needs to capitalize. Now, we know that the Steelers are getting Juju Smith-Schuster back this weekend. We know that the Steelers are probably getting Connor back this weekend at running back as well. So they're getting some of their talent. They're getting some of their stars back. But this defense needs to be able to feast on what seems to be a lackluster offense. You're talking about Duck Hodges behind the helm. It's not like you have Ben Roethlisberger there. This is a team that you should be able to beat, whether it be home or away. Again, we know that this Bills defense plays better on the road this season, as they're currently 4-1 on the road this season with 2 road games left to go. Steelers are all about their D. Let's talk about the defense for both these teams. Points allowed per game. You look at the Buffalo Bills, currently ranked 2nd in the NFL, only allowing 16.3 points per game. The Pittsburgh Steelers allowing 18.6 in that top 10. Good for 6th in the NFL. So neither of these teams allow a lot of points. And guys, I predict this to be a low-scoring game. I haven't looked at the over-under, but I'm going under. No matter what it is, unless it's like 30, I'm going under in this game because I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think if either team gets in the 20s, that's the team that's going to win this game. As far as total red zone defense, the Bills only allow touchdowns on 58.8% of drives that end up in the red zone. That's actually 20th in the NFL. I thought it'd be a little bit better than that, but we're 20th in the NFL. That means when teams get in the red zone, they score on us 58, almost 59% of the time. They score touchdowns 59% of the time. Juju left practice early today. Status for Sunday uncertain. I'm not buying it. I'm acting like he's playing in this game until I see otherwise. So we'll wait till Sunday. Probably will list him as a game time decision, but I think he's going to play in this one. You look at the Steelers' red zone defense, they're actually 9th in the league in red zone defense, only allowing touchdowns on 51.2% of drives that go into the red zone. So that's good for 9th in the league. Again, we talked about that a little bit earlier, how the Buffalo Bills want to be able to score touchdowns once they get in the red zone, right? I don't see too many trips on either side of the ball getting into the red zone just because of how good these two defenses are. But when they do, we need touchdowns. We need to hold them to field goals. If you look at the total defense for this team, these teams, yards allowed, you look at 296.8 for the Buffalo Bills, less than 300 yards allowed a game. Only 3 teams in the NFL can say that. That's good for 3rd. The Steelers allowing 310.9 yards per game. That's good for a 5th. They're still top 5 defense when it comes to yards allowed per game. Hey, Attica, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk again, this late night edition. If you didn't see on YouTube, I did mention that I had a holiday work party today, so that's why I'm running a little bit late. So if you're watching this not live, you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. Again, hit that thumbs up button. I apologize that I'm late, but better late than never when talking about our Buffalo Bills. However, in the last 3 games, if you look at the Steelers defense, they're actually number 1 overall in yards allowed. Now, some of you can look at the competition they've played and say, yeah, it's not the Buffalo Bills caliber, playoff caliber teams that they've been playing, and I'd agree with you. But you have to admit this defense is playing really well, and possibly even getting better as the season goes on. The turnover differential, now this is big, right? This is key here to look at this number. The Buffalo Bills currently sit at +2 in the into the turnover differential. That's good for 13th, tied for 13th in the NFL. We have 16 takeaways and 14 giveaways. Only 6 teams have fewer giveaways this season than the Buffalo Bills. So that's a pretty good number to see, that we don't give the ball away as often as we were at the beginning of the season. I think we only have 4 turnovers in the past 6 or 8 games or something like that. So doing a much better job holding on to that football, and that's going to matter in this game, as the Steelers are 2nd in the league in turnover differential, sitting at +12. +12, guys, and they have the most takeaways in the league with 33, but they have 21 giveaways. So not only are they taking, they're also giving it away. So obviously we need to be able to take advantage of that. 21 giveaways. Our defense should be able to cause some turnovers and create extra possessions for this Buffalo Bills team, for Josh Allen, and hopefully for this offense to get going a little bit, as we failed to do so against the Baltimore Ravens. And then you look at penalties, guys. The Buffalo Bills are 24th in the league in penalties, averaging 7.5 penalties a game. I hate that stat. I wish that we would just be able to be a little more disciplined, right? Now, there have been some flags along the way that, man, you really wonder what was being called. But overall, 7.5 penalties a game, just not good enough to get it done. Steelers not too much better, sitting at 7.3 penalties per game. That's 21st in the NFL. So pretty even when it comes to the penalty differential. So if you look at those stats that I just gave you, the biggest differentials here to me are red zone scoring offense. We're 10th or 32nd. And then you look at the total offense allowed in the game. You're looking at the Buffalo Bills sitting at 20th in total offense, and the Steelers sitting at 28th. So I want to go over my keys to victory. Let me get over to the comments real quick. I know you guys are leaving some comments again. I appreciate it. And again, hit that thumbs up button, as Thursday Night Football is still going on. So I know a lot of you might be watching that, but the game has pretty much been decided. The Ravens, with a win, are going to clinch the AFC North 35-13 the last time I checked. Now it's 42-21, so obviously it was a while since I checked, but still that game looks like it's over as that game as that game's well in the 4th quarter. Let me go to Daniel here. Says, if your job interferes with watching the Bills, it's time to get a new job. Doesn't interfere with watching the Bills. It just interferes with giving you guys Buffalo Bills content. And it's okay every once in a while for a holiday party, right? Get a couple drinks, have a good time, be merry. I think every once in a while there can be an exception. Most of those giveaways were with Mason Rudolph. Duck protects the ball much better, says Daniel. Well, Duck has protected the ball much better, but again, look at the teams that Duck has played, right? Talk about the Arizona Cardinals, talk about the Cleveland Browns, not up to that caliber of the Buffalo Bills. What I want to see is the Buffalo Bills get some pressure on Hodges and see how he responds to that. Okay, I want to see if he makes mistakes, but yeah, he has been minimizing the turnovers a lot better than Mason Rudolph was, but still something that we can take advantage of. And I don't think turnover numbers always reflect just one player. You know, you look at the running backs, you look at the offensive line protecting for the quarterback if they give him time. So hopefully those factors come into play a little bit Sunday night on Sunday Night Football as our Bills look to clinch a playoff spot against the Pittsburgh Steelers. My first key to victory, and we talked about it, we alluded to it a little bit earlier in the video, is Josh Allen versus the blitz. Okay, and a lot of people have talked about this, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but it's a very important piece, right? You look at the game against the Baltimore Ravens last week, and like I said, they blitzed about 60% of the time. Allen only completed 7 of 24 passes when they blitzed, so that's not good enough. We need to be able to do better than 7 for 24 on a blitz. And again, they sent a lot of pressure from that right side. They talked about it yesterday on #sports, and that's something that, again, we need to harp on because we all know how much Allen loves to roll to the right. Well, if you keep sending blitzes to the right, he immediately has to go to the left. Completely different game, then take away half the field and also make him throw on the run to his left instead of his right, where he's obviously predominantly better throwing to his right. So you take that away. Obviously now Brandon Dable and the Buffalo Bills need to counteract that because as Coach McDermott said just today, this is a copycat league, right? So if teams are seeing something's working against Buffalo, they're going to keep doing it. Now the Steelers are not a team known to blitz all that much, but if they see it working, then why wouldn't you go ahead and do that against this Buffalo Bills team? I'm saying it's something we need to be ready for, is this Pittsburgh Steelers defense coming at us and coming at us hard for 60 minutes. They have a great defense. We just talked about it. We talked about how good they are at getting turnovers. We talked about how good they are at sacks. We talked about how good they are at a lot of these things, and that's because they're going to come after it for 60 minutes. We have to have an offense that's ready to go get it as well. This isn't going to be easy. This isn't going to be given to us. We have to go take it. So that's my first key to victory is Josh Allen versus the blitz. My second key to victory kind of plays into that as well, is this overall offensive line play against the Steelers' defensive line. Again, we talked about how the Steelers don't like to blitz a lot. So what we need to make sure we do is make sure we get the defensive line to have to blitz in order to force some pressure. And in this offensive line, I'm specifically talking about Cody Ford, right? Cody Ford is going to be up against T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt is a monster this season, sitting at 12.5 sacks with 3 games to go. Pretty impressive. He had 20 sacks his first 2 seasons combined. Now he's sitting at 12.5, trying to take over the lead like his big brother did not too long ago. Well, Cody Ford is going to be up against him, and this is probably going to be Cody Ford's toughest test to date. Now, I think that the Buffalo Bills are going to help him with Lee Smith, and I think that they'll probably chip him with a running back maybe or something like that as well. But this still will be Cody Ford going up against T.J. Watt on his own. And if I'm going to be honest, I don't like that matchup. I want to see Lee Smith, maybe even another tight end, get Chip in there. I want to see us move the fullback over to that side, maybe give him some help. But even though I don't like this matchup, it seems like whenever we give Cody Ford a tough matchup and say, man, we really need to make sure we win this, those are the ones he does well. It's when we overlook Cody Ford that seems like he has a down game. But you talk about that game against Von Miller. Now, T.J. Watt is a lot different than Von Miller. They have a lot different style of defense. They do different things. But at the same time, star player in Von Miller, Cody Ford held his own. Now, again, he had help, and hopefully this offensive line and this offensive game plan by Brian Dable does afford Cody Ford to get some help over there when you're talking about T.J. Watt. But I think that's a huge matchup. So that's my second key to victory. My third key to victory is going to be special teams. Guys, if you didn't see it last week, against the Arizona Cardinals, the Pittsburgh Steelers had a punt return for a touchdown to make that game 10-0. Really made the momentum swing completely in Pittsburgh's favor. It made it hard for the Arizona Cardinals, who are still a year or two away, to really come back in that game. Now they did, they made it a good game, and they almost pulled it out, but the Steelers just too much pulled away at the end. But we cannot allow that to happen. Again, we talked about this low-scoring game, how this is going to be a low-scoring game, and that I even said that whichever team gets into the 20s is going to be winning this game. Well, we can't afford to give away touchdowns. We've seen that we've had problems on special teams, whether it be a blocked punt, whether it be a blocked extra or a blocked kick, whether it be a missed field goal, or whether it just be a bad punter. We've seen that we've had problems on special teams. Now is not the time to revisit those. We need to make sure our special teams is up for the task. Corey Bajorquez needs to make sure he gets lots of hang time on his punts, and maybe if you're sacrificing 5 yards to get more hang time to give your team time to get down there, then do it. But we know Corey Bajorquez is going to be hot one time, cold the next, so it's going to be hard to tell what we get until game time from Corey Bajorquez. I'm sure the wind is going to be blowing again in this game, Pittsburgh in December. I'm sure the weather conditions are not going to be great, but I want to see better efficiency from our punter. I think that he can do better. We've seen better from him. I just want him to do it on a more consistent basis. And then you also have to talk about Steven Hauschka, right? In a low-scoring game, field goals are going to be critical. And where we're playing Heinz Field, a field notorious for having that one open side of the field that's tough to kick field goals. Well, it's not like Steven Hauschka is impressing us this season with his field goal abilities, guys. We need to make sure that he's ready to kick a game-winning kick if push comes to shove, right? We need to make sure that he makes his field goals when asked to. He did good last week for us. He needs to do good again this week for us as well. If we want to come out of Heinz Field, if we want to come out of Pittsburgh with that W, which again, I believe that we can do. And then my last key to victory is going to be something we already talked about, and that's red zone efficiency. Again, this Buffalo Bills defense, a bend, don't break defense. It's been that way all season. So if the Steelers get into the red zone, you need to make sure you stop them to field goals. Again, the Steelers ranked 32nd NFL. I think that we can get it done. So those are some of my keys to victory. Let me know what you think. I'm going to get some of your comments. I'm going to talk about some other things that I want to see going into this game, as well as, okay. Sorry guys, it just stopped and resumed, so I do apologize for that. But hopefully everyone's back in here, so I appreciate you hanging with me. And so let me get to the comments, and then once we get to the comments, I do want to talk about some other things going into this game on Sunday night. Daniel writes in again, they don't need to blitz to get pressure and sacks. They haven't all season, right? They have not all season. You talk about them leading the league in sacks, and they don't do blitzes, right? They don't blitz all that much. They have a strong front seven. They have a strong front four or front three. I forget if they're on 3-4 or 4-3. I think it's 4-3 now. But they have a strong front, and they can get pressure on the quarterback without that. And so that's why this offensive line really needs to play well. That's something I'm really going to look at. And again, I'm looking directly at you, Cody Ford, to see how you do against TJ Watt. But some other things I want to talk about in this game, guys, I don't know why we went away from the jet sweep. I love the jet sweep for this offense. It seems to spread out a defense, and I think in this type of matchup, that's what we need to do. We need to use some misdirection, guys, and maybe throw a trick play in there. We saw it against Dallas on Thanksgiving, right? That John Brown touchdown throw to Devin Singletary. Make them guess who has the ball. Make them guess where the ball is going next. Make them put eyes on someone who doesn't have the ball, so that way you get an extra step or two before they realize who does have the ball. Jet sweeps work for that. You talk about a screen game would be nice to get that going early in this one. Devin Singletary proved against Baltimore that he's legit even against some of the tougher defenses in this league. I expect him to have another pretty good day here again. Again, 24 carries last week for him, or 24 touches, I should say, last week for him. I expect him to be around that same number. Frank Gore, get going, man. Frank Gore really needs to get going. He's averaging about 2.5 yards per carry in his last 4 or 5 games. Need to do better than that. Daniel comes in. Bills offense needs to be balanced, get the run game going. It does. It cannot be intimidated by this defense. Listen, I know this defense isn't going to give you anything. I understand that. But you need to be going after it. This is for a playoff spot. Not only is it for a playoff spot, it's to keep pace with the New England Patriots for the AFC East title. This isn't just a game that you can throw away. This is a must-win for the Buffalo Bills if they want to stay alive in the AFC East hunt. And with the win in this game, it pretty much clinches at least a fifth place playoff spot for us in the NFL playoffs, in the AFC playoffs. Again, a win and we're in. Let's talk about it. Let's get it done this Sunday. We don't want to wait for the Patriots. We don't want to wait for the Jets. Do we want to win those games? Absolutely. but that doesn't mean we want to wait for those games to come to get into the playoffs. Again, we don't want to back our way into the playoffs. We want to get there because we got there, not because of what happened in other games. So let me talk a little bit more about some of the comments I got. Steve Hampton comes in. Welcome again to Billievers Talk, guys. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, be sure to do that. I know we're late. Thursday Night Football coming to an end. I normally go live for halftime, but again, or it is at a final now. The Ravens have won that game, but again, had a little bit of a celebration with the staff, so I appreciated that. But I wanted to get on here and still give you my live preview video for the game this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Ravens win, clinch the AFC North. That means the Steelers have less to play for because they can no longer win the AFC North. Another reason to jump on top of them real good. The only way they can get in is by being a 6th seed or by being a wild card team, I should say, in the AFC playoff race. Guys, the good news is, if the Bills do lose, the good news is we're still in the playoffs. We've just moved down to that 6th seed due to the fact that Houston is playing Tennessee. Both teams tied currently with Pittsburgh. One of those teams is going to take a loss probably, and that means they're going to stay as the 7th seed in the East, as the winner will be the AFC South division leaders at the time, but that doesn't mean it can't change within the final 2 weeks. So Steve Hampton writes in, I believe if the right version of our offense shows up, it's an easy win. If the offense that came out against the Ravens shows up, I don't like our chances. Really all depends if Josh Allen hits those deep passes, right? He had some open guys early in that Ravens game, just missed them. So if he can hit those guys, I think we have a good chance. I think this defense is obviously going to keep us in this game. I think this defense can hang with any offense in the land. I think that's what they proved last week against the Baltimore Ravens. I hope they prove it again this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Daniel, hitting a long pass or two would be big for the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely, because you figure that's going to put you on the positive side of the field more than likely, get you in a good place to score some points, put some points on the board, always equals good thing. Put pressure on the other team's offense to try create big plays. When there's none there, that's going to lead to turnovers. Buffalo Bills fan 2717 says we need Josh and the offense to win this game. I would love to see that. I would love to see Josh Allen complete about 70 to 75% of his passes. Again, Josh Allen undefeated when the Buffalo Bills are undefeated against all teams when Josh Allen completes 60% of his passes or more. So that's kind of the number we want to hit. I would love to see him complete 70, maybe even 75% of his passes. He's done that once or twice already this season. See an efficient quarterback playing the game against this team. Keep their offense on the sideline, get their defense winded early, and then we hopefully can take advantage of that, take advantage of some mismatches, maybe have a blown coverage like we did against the Ravens that leads to a big touchdown, and that's something our defense can't do, right? We can't have a blown coverage again like we did last week against the Baltimore Ravens, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. I'm sure Leslie Frazier, I'm sure Coach McDermott is coaching up this defense right now, getting us ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, their offense a completely different animal than what we saw in Baltimore. Not to worry about Hodges breaking one like I was Lamar. That will add some opportunities for this defense down the line. Daniel comes in. The two defenses should be about a push. The Bills need to be the better offense, and we have been all season. There's no reason to think that we can't again in this game. I expect Hyde and Poyer to confuse the duck. Hopefully results in a pick or two. Again, turnovers equal extra possessions. Extra possessions a great thing for your offense, not a great thing for their defense. Doesn't give them as much time to rest. We saw what happened last week when Josh Allen fumbled the ball in Buffalo Bills territory. The Ravens answered with a touchdown. And that's what we need to do. We saw what happened when we got a turnover last week with Tremaine Edmonds getting that interception. Didn't turn into any points. No points scored. So when we get turnovers, if we get turnovers, they need to turn into points. We can't have empty possessions. We need to make sure we get a few first downs. Less 3-and-outs, right? We had 7 punts last week. Less punts might even help Corey Bojorges out if he's not punting the ball so often. If he only gets 4, maybe 5 punts in a game, I think that will do him some good. Maybe keep his leg fresh on the sideline. 7 punts is getting a little high up there. I don't want to see that again. I want to see this team moving the ball effectively, win time possession, score when you have the ball in the opponent's side of the field. And we should come away with the win. And if we come away with the win, again, guys, that means we come away with a playoff berth. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk, whether you be here live. Again, I know it's late, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me after Thursday Night Football now, or whether you're joining me on the replay. Couldn't stay up this late. I understand completely. I'm exhausted, so I know a lot of you are probably as well. Get to some comments here. I want to see Roberts to return one already. Roberts, man, I hope if he's in the end zone, he knows how to take a touchback. I hate losing yards because you feel like you can take it out and not get back to at least the 25. That's 3 yards the NFL gives you. You should take them unless you know you can make it past the 25-yard line. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk for this preview edition. Went through it pretty fast. Again, I know how late it is. So if you're watching this live, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're watching the replay, hit that thumbs up button anyhow. Leave a comment if you haven't been able to leave a comment live. I love getting back to you guys, and I appreciate all that you've done for this channel. Again, teaming up with BoilerStampede.com, giving away a free Andre Reed Buffalo Bills signed jersey. Make sure you go to BoilerStampede.com. Has all your ways to enter, and then make sure you're logging your entries there. Follow me on Twitter, and then also follow me on Facebook as well. Links in the description below. If you're not a fan of #sports, go over and follow them, guys. They are doing football squares like your Super Bowl squares, right? Most of you know how Super Bowl squares work. They're doing it for every single game the rest of the season, and all the money gained from this is going directly to the Punt Foundation. Brian Moorman, former punter of the Buffalo Bills, started a foundation called the Punt Foundation. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. Great foundation. So make sure that you go over to #sports.com. You have an extra $5, $10. Buy a square or two for your chance to win Buffalo Bills autographed memorabilia. It's a great charity. It's a great thing that they're doing. So make sure you go over there as well. But guys, also, make sure you're following Mario and Paul because they'll be giving you a live play-by-play reaction to the game this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kyle comes in before we go. Would I cut Croft this offseason? It depends. It depends what we see in the last 3 games. We know that he was injured for the first half of the season. Want to see how he does if he has a full season with this offense, but he's injury prone. We like what we see at Croft most of the time. The drops need to stop. Want to see what we have in Tommy Sweeney. We haven't done that yet, really. I think we might even pick up another tight end in the draft, right? We might look there for another possible tight end. I know Croft isn't like a centerpiece. I think Croft is expendable, more so than I think Lee Smith is. So I don't think we keep Croft this offseason, but you just never know. But yeah, Jack Patrick comes in and says no as well. Yeah, that's just something I don't see coming. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk for this late edition. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Again, I won't be doing the live play-by-play reaction this Sunday, but I will be live, or I will be giving you a video tomorrow, giving you the injury report at the end of the week. Only a few injuries for the Bills. The Steelers have a much longer list. If there is breaking news between now and Sunday, I will bring it to you right here. And then again, I'll join you Monday during halftime on Monday Night Football as we hopefully celebrate a playoff victory, or a victory that leads us to the playoffs against the Steelers. Guys, thanks a lot. I look forward to talking to you all soon. And again, I know you guys are talking about Croft still in the chat section. Feel free to chat all you want. But I look forward to seeing you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.